So one Sunday morning, May 15th, I got that call that no parent ever wants to get, and it was Jonathan's dad, and he had quiver in his voice, the emotion, and he said, "Fire, not looking real good, you need to come home." And after that, my world kind of sank into a hazy, cold winter. It was dark. I could see faces. I could see sadness, but the people around me, my life was in gray mirages of waves, and people were talking, but it sounded like underwater noise, and it was just dark. And for a whole year, I have no memory recall of that year. Unless somebody prompts a memory, I have no memory. I don't know exactly when I woke up from that nightmare. I know the catalyst of that was that when I truly recognized that Jonathan was dead. Like I didn't lose him, he didn't pass, he was dead. And when I was able to like internalize that and make that like part of who I was now, I was able to wake up and not move forward, because you never move forward. You learn how to manage, but you never move forward. And I remember that year trying to grapple to piece together some sort of life, because it is a new life. It's not the same life you had. It's completely new, and you learn to you exercise mentally and physically about how to carry this load, and you learn to manage that. And I remember poring over baby photos, videos, texts, sympathy cards, messages, because I recognized that all I had was his past. So I wanted to commit everything about him to memory. I did not want to forget one thing. So I poured over every day, poured over things, and I cried. Every time I read it, I would cry. I'd go through pictures, I'd cry. I'd watch videos, and I'd cry. And then one day, I was reading a note that I had read 100 times. And instead of crying, I laughed out loud. I cackled out loud at the memory that this note elicited, because the note was from a memory. Long story short, I got that other call that we moms never want to get. Jonathan was 21, and the phone rang and it said, "Mom, I'm in jail." Mom, I know that you said that you were going to let me rot in jail, but please don't let me rot. Please come get me. Please come get me. So I said, "Son, I have some errands to run, and I might be there later." So I went to pick him up about 2:30, maybe 3 that afternoon, and I got there, and the clerk behind the window was very busy. She and I was interrupting her. She was very busy. She was typing. She didn't even stop typing and doing her work when she said, "What?" So "I'm here to pick up my son, Jonathan Edwards." And she said, she just kind of kept going, and she stopped, and then she looked at me, and she pulled her glasses down, and she said, "Honey, that is one fine young man you raised." Okay. You know what? I made sure he had 2 grilled cheese because he was hungry, and I found him some socks because Lord knows where they went. So I'm looking at my husband, and I'm like in shock. Is this a joke? Is somebody playing a joke on me? And she calls the deputy around, and when the deputy opens his door, he's this massive man, and Jonathan's a big guy too, and he looks like he's been in jail overnight. And he opens the door, and Jonathan steps out, and the deputy hugs him, like bear hugs him. and pats him on the back, says, "Bye, son. Hope not to see you later." So it was, I would love to be a fly on the wall to even know what happened, how that conversation went, and how it was such a positive, like when he was released, how positive the deputy was to hug him. And then, after he died, this story that Jenna video that he played, it reminded me of his light. It reminded me of who he was, and I think that in my sadness, I had forgotten that. One of Jonathan's favorite movies when he was growing up was The Lion King. It actually came out in '94, the year he was born, and Jonathan had a knack of knowing scenes and quotes, and one of his favorite scenes was a Circle of Life scene. We always just repeated scenes, and my favorite line of that Circle of Life scene was when Mufasa said, "Everything the light touches is our kingdom." And our family, we always took that as a proclamation of responsibility. Be a light that touches everything in your kingdom. Pretty profound. And Jonathan was certainly the king of his kingdom. And I think that's why we're here today, because he so purposefully, consciously shared his light with those around him. The scene goes on to say, Cindy goes, "But what about that shadowy place over there?" And I never really thought about that until I was in the shadowy place and was lost, didn't have a light to guide me, to help me out of that shadowy place. So I never really, it was a great scene, but I never really thought much about it until that was me. It's said that a legacy is not what you leave behind, but what you leave in others. And I don't believe that Jonathan ever intended to leave a legacy. I just think that he was doing what he does best. But he did leave a legacy, and he didn't leave a legacy with all these grand gestures. It wasn't big. It was smiles. It was genuine words of goodwill. It was the biggest, best bear hugs in the world. And I am forever grateful for his life. And the light that he so willingly shared with others. Because I feel like it was that light that broke into the borders of my shadowy place, gave me some light, and helped me find my way out. It was what he left in others that ended up saving me and rekindling my light and reminding me that it is my responsibility to be a light in my kingdom. And reminding me of the importance of being a light and the importance of sharing your light, and honestly the real joy of being the queen of my kingdom and sharing my light and carrying on his legacy. And for that, I'm forever grateful. And I am grateful to be here and for you to hear his story and to be a part of this. And we thank you, Jenna, for honoring us. Thank you.